Lynn Spears, Jamie Lynn Spears, and Lou M. Taylor are the reason your girl's not a feminist, okay? Because let's be real, let's keep it honest, and let's keep it a buck, right? We're in a society today now where feminism itself has gone to the extreme. As I've talked about in previous videos, I highly recommend you check out my video where I talk about how the red pill community and the feminist community are two sides of the same coin. I really recommend you check that out. Also, the videos I did about Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and how they've contributed to this extreme feminism. And I did one on Beyonce's new song. Oh my gosh, check out all my videos. Duh, of course. And don't forget to subscribe. And I find it interesting that at the same time we're doing that, behind closed doors, there are just these interesting things that show me that so much of the time we women are actually more of our own problem than the men are. Right? We act like, oh, the patriarchy wants to do this to women, wants to do that, misogyny, blah, blah, right? But let's talk about Britney Spears, because do you know something? I'm going to tell you guys a few interesting things. And bearing in mind, if you don't know who these people are, Lynn Spears is Britney Spears' mom, Jamie Lynn Spears is Britney Spears' sister, and Lou M. Taylor is the business manager who was working with the family, you know, managing Britney's career. She is also part of the conservatorship team, etc., etc. Now, a few interesting bits of information that you may not know, right? For one, I'm looking through my list of things. Yes, so there are two things that her mum specifically suggested. She was the one who introduced Lou M. Taylor into the picture. Now, Lou M. Taylor, by the way, can I just tell you, she is a woman who runs a huge sports and entertainment group called TriStar Entertainment. She now manages both athletes and artists. She has offices in more than one state, and I think it's like 75% of her workforce is women. She, when she started out, basically used Britney Spears as what one would call a cash cow, i.e. when the whole stuff was going down with Britney in the beginning, she only had a couple of clients. So she really built up her whole wealth from all of this exploitation that she did using Britney Spears, who at the time was obviously had been a child star, was moving into being a teen, and then now an adult star, and was very big, definitely considered an A-list celebrity. And so she formed part of the people that were taking advantage of Britney Spears. Now, she was introduced into the picture from who? It was Britney's mum. Do you know who encouraged the conservatorship? Britney's mum. And you guys already know about Jamie Lynn, because I have a whole plethora of videos about Jamie Lynn Spears that you guys can check out, and how, again, she took the opportunity to try again and make her sister look bad, try and make herself look like she didn't do anything. You guys can go and watch that in another video. So when you see all these women, Lou M. Taylor, Lynn Spears, Jamie Lynn Spears, the whole workforce, all these women who are knowing what's going on in this situation with Britney, can you understand why I just don't care for feminism now anymore? I cared about it when, you know, and in a lot of areas, we did make certain movements that needed to be made as far as, you know, rights for women. Great. But it's things like this where I'm like, sometimes we are the problem. And when I say we are the problem, it's not just us backfiring because we get caught up in the stupid influence of the likes of the Meg Thee Stallions of the world. Sometimes it's also, we are literally the perpetrators, knowing exactly what's going on and profiting off of it. You know, Britney talks about, and I'm going to talk about this separately in a video, how she mentions how the reason that she started to be freed is because of the Free Britney movement. And it absolutely bothered her, the fact that her mum and her sister were never the ones coming in like, Britney, we're going to get you out of there, we're going to protect you. And do you know what she actually said? She said, and this is, I'm quoting from, she's been putting out all of these voice notes recently, so I've written down some quotes. One of the things that she said is that she thinks that secretly, honestly, they liked me being the bad one. She said, let me start that again. She said, secretly, honestly, they liked me being the bad one. They honestly wanted to keep it that way. And she says that their response to everything that she's been through is that they didn't know. So she could sense that they liked, and I can tell you guys this because I've been in this experience myself, and I've seen it happen to other people, where there was an opportunity for women. Think about how many times I was reading a story, a really super sad story, actually. I saw a video, actually, it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was a YouTube short. And this mum was opening up. She was talking about the fact that her daughter, she could tell that her daughter was not okay. Something seemed off, and she was worrying for the worst, thinking that, you know, the daughter was being, you know, SA'd by her father-in-law. Now, the thing is, now this daughter was showing many symptoms, one of which was getting UTIs all the time, which is so sad. I really do feel and pray for children who go through stuff like this. Now, there's the daughter. So then the mum goes to her husband and says, this is what I've been thinking, babe, what do we do? And the husband's like, don't worry, I'm fully committed to working out what's going on with this. Like, let's deal with this, etc., etc. Then, what then happens is the mum is not sitting right with the mum after some time. And so she delves further and she goes and talks to the daughter and just says, you know, what's going on? Like, she just confronts her. And the daughter obviously opens up and says, you know what she says? It's dad who's doing it, right? So thank God that this mum said something, right? Thank God that this mum said something. But what stuck out to me wasn't even that video. It was what was going on in the comment section. Because in the comment section, people were talking and giving their stories of how they had been through this type of stuff and their mums knew and they did nothing about it. They had been, you know, essayed or, you know, emmed, if you guys get what I mean. Not like killed, but like, you know, the other word, but by their either fathers, uncles and stuff. And the things that got to these people the most is when they could see their mums or whatever noticing and not doing anything about it. This is something that happens, and this is where I then say, and by the way, in the story that I mentioned in the YouTube short, the mum got the guy convicted. Like, it wasn't long after that he went to court and was convicted. So it's not even like so they got justice in the end. Let's just put it like that. Of course, you can never repair the damage that he's done to the child, but at least now the child knows. And I think these are some of the traumas people are growing up with, you know, like in society today where they've been through something. So they know that they've had a mum or someone who's known what's gone on and hasn't said anything. And then they grow up with trying to still have a relationship. That person, that parent who's trying to ignore everything still wants to have a relationship with them. Meanwhile, they've ignored everything that's been going on. These are what form a lot of these complex relationships that people have in this day and age. And I really do strongly feel for Britney Spears that she went through all of this stuff and that nobody really had her back. Because the truth is, nobody really did have her back. Nobody was looking out for her and for what she was going through, you know. And that's really sad, and that's what's really sad about it, you know. And that's why when we talk about women and we talk about feminism, how many times are we women going to ignore stuff that's going on? How many women, if you're a woman out there who's watching this video and you know something's going on with your child, you need to speak up. You need to speak up and you need to do something, because this is how the likes of people like Britney Spears end up in this predicament. You know, a lot of people put a lot of attention onto James Spears, and don't get me wrong, James is very much at the forefront, but James was very much working along with the mum, and the mum just gets along with it, gets to get along with it, you know, going off with gaining less heat for what's happening. I mean, even in the when Britney mentioned the introduction of who I'm assuming was Lou M. Taylor, because Lou M. Taylor was the business manager, she didn't even say Lou, she didn't even mention her by name. She said that woman, right? Which I don't know why there's a reason she didn't mention that. There could be other things going on behind the scenes and other reasons why Britney might not use her name. She might be held under one of these weird non-disclosure agreements. You guys know we talk about all these weird Hollyweird contracts. If you don't know, I've got a whole playlist dedicated talking about contracts, helping you guys. If you're an aspiring artist or if you're somebody who's interested in the entertainment industry, you can check out my playlist where I talk about all these different contracts. I even go through some contracts out there and show the little pitfalls that people can fall into, because a lot of these artists and even athletes out there, the reason why they're stuck is because they're caught up in a contract. And we're actually going to talk about KSI, who's one of the very biggest YouTubers right now, who only just recently started making money off of his YouTube videos again because of what? None other than a Hollyweird contract. So look out for that video as well. But anyways, I say all this to say, guys, that these people are getting away with this stuff, like, and it's women, it's not just the men. A lot of these women are hiding behind the fact that they're in an organization, right? Like Lou M. Taylor, TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group, right? She has been somebody who's been very good about keeping her name out of things, right? Which is helpful for her, especially in this day and age where people can be upset, are going to be wanting to be, a lot of us women are going to be wanting to be more upset, you know, with James Spears, again, for the reason of feminism. And this is why it's important that when we are doing these social action, these social justice warriors and whatever, that we don't just get caught up, you know, because we don't just get caught up and forget to actually look at the whole situation. Because in this situation, listen, it was her mum who invited whichever woman, which I'm assuming is Lou M. Taylor, but at least one of these women, it could be the other one, I can't remember her name right now. There's another woman who worked with Lou M. Taylor who was part of all the stuff that they were doing. And it was also her mum who suggested the conservatorship that she was in for 15, 16 years. It was her mum who suggested it. So it's like her mum, like James was already doing whatever he was doing. And again, I talked about in previous video how James's grandfather, I believe, used to give lithium, what they were giving to Britney, which was making her feel essentially just very drugged up and whatever, even though she still was performing at the same time because she's a freaking rock star, even though everybody tried to make her look like she lost her mind, right? What they were giving, it was actually James's grandfather used to give that to James's grandmother, this same lithium stuff. So imagine Lynn is now supporting this man in what he's doing. Like, it wasn't just James. And this is why we as women have got to be careful to look at everything from all sides. I talk about this with stuff that goes on in the world. I'm not going to go down the political route, but there's a lot of women attached to some of these men that are problematic out there that nobody is speaking about. Nobody's calling them out what they're doing. And we have to address that, you know. And so that's all I'm going to say for today on this one. You know, I don't want to make hugely long videos as much as possible, but just to say that this is why I'm not feminist, because I realize that in the maybe if maybe 20 years ago, yes, that would make sense. Even maybe 15, 10 years ago. Now, where we are at with feminism, I think a lot of us women need to be focusing more on how we're going to do better to protect women as women, to protect women and men as women, and not just running around talking about the patriarchy, because there are a lot of women right now out there who are offending people, who are doing things that are causing long-term harm, who are trying to be willfully ignorant to the things that are going on, who are enabling a lot of the stuff that's going on, guys. So let's be very cautious about that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a heavy one, but you know, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and of course hit the like button. And of course, this video is going to be in my #FreeBritney playlist. So if you are like, I don't even know much about what's going on, I'm late to the party, feel free to check out that playlist. It's got loads of videos, one of my longest running playlists and series I've had on this channel, so you can get yourself up to date, go and find out the bits and bobs you need to know. Other than that, God bless every single one of you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.